been the most fun about doing the last few gigs with Eric and the new band?
I think a lack of pressure is one thing. I mean, all I have to do is play the drums, apart from doing the air, you know, which is, and I'm sure people will be thinking it's the only song I know, but it's the one everyone wants to hear. No, I mean, it's just Greg and Nathan, the two other guys in the band, are great musicians. I mean, Nathan and I played on Phil Bailey's album, and we said we'd love to do some more work together. And coincidentally, he'd played on some of Eric's last album, the stuff that I didn't produce. And Eric wanted to use him, and Greg, filling Gaines, who I'd wanted to get for Bailey's album, but couldn't because he was working. So there's all these like little interweaving things that suddenly everybody came together, and this band did Eric's new album. And it was just a great opportunity, and someone said, how about doing some gigs, you know, and I'm supposed to be having my July and August off with my kids, you know, but coincidentally they're not over yet because my daughter horse rides and stuff, so she's doing well in Canada. So they're coming over in a week or so, and it all just seemed to fit into place, you know, a couple of weeks with Eric, very laid-back tour, a couple of dates here, day off, another date, 2 days off, and then, you know, 6 dates and it's gone.
Now, you're friends with Eric anyway, aren't you? Because you live fairly close.
Yeah.
Neighbours, 20 minutes away.
In the country, it's neighbours.
In the country, yes, it's neighbours. How did it all start how did you come to decide to do something together?
Well, I don't think he knew. I mean, I met him when he was drinking quite heavily, you know, and I don't think he knew what I was doing. I don't think he knew I was a musician. I was doing John Martin's album.
How long ago was that?
This was 1978, probably, not 79. And we just met, and because, you know, we got on, we just got on. And then I invited him and Patty to a show that I was doing, I think Genesis were doing at Hammersmith Odeon. And he came and he couldn't believe, he just suddenly saw this bloke that he'd been seeing in his front room.
He thought you were a car salesman.
Yeah, probably, yeah. I was on stage, you know, and we've always had great fun together. But as I say, it was came out of the blue about 4 years ago, I suppose it must have been, 3 or 4 years ago. He rang me up and said, do you want to come over? Because I want to talk to you about producing my album, which was Behind the Sun. And it was such an amazing, you know, for me, I'm still a fan of all these people. So I'm not jaded, and I don't think that, yeah, I'm up there with them all, you know, just because I've had #1 records. I actually do look up to these people. And I still have, you know, people that I consider to be, you know, my peers. So it was a tremendous opportunity, you know, and experience to work with him. It's great fun.
Have you just completed the Genesis album?
Yeah, we finished that. Well, in fact, we finished that about 2 days before I started Eric's. So the last 6 months have been Studio City, I'm afraid. We've had the Genesis album started in September last year. We finished that in March.
That's a long time.
Yeah, we didn't have any music written, you see. What we do is just go in there with nothing written. Excuse me. We went in there with nothing written and just sat down and started throwing ideas around, you know, and then after about 5 or 6 weeks of that, songs materialise. And then it took about a month or so to write it, to record it rather, and then a month or so to mix it, and suddenly it's Christmas break, you know. And then we started the next day with Eric, and then we finished that on a Friday, about 3 months. We had about 4 months for that.
Were you writing with him, or was he very well organised?
Well, the last 2 albums has been much more organised than ever before. The last album he had demos and everything. This album he had some demos, but some of the songs were less structured. But he was, I mean, Tom Dowd also did this album with us, who did his Cream stuff and early solo stuff. And that was great because I was playing, and although I was producing it, Tom was in the room, in the control room, saying...
It's really embarrassing, isn't it?
Sorry.
So, Tom was in the control room saying that was a great take, you should come and listen to that. So it was great having some of his experience around. And we finished that on a Friday, and on the Saturday we started rehearsing for these gigs. So it's been consistent.
Now, why were you called Slow Hand?
Because I'm very slow. I'm not a very fast player.
Is that why?
I don't know. That's my reason for looking at it. I think it's a good explanation, don't you think?
I don't know about that.
I'm just not a very fast player.
Now, you did the Miami Vice thing.
Yeah.
You and Don.
Me and Don.
Together. I noticed Don wasn't in any scenes with you in case he was badly upset. You know, he was obviously upset
That's
about
funny,
that.
yeah. In fact, it was a peculiar episode by comparison to the rest of the series because...
You were the only one acting.
No, I won't have that. But it was a very funny one, you see. It was actually a lot of humour in it. And the first series had a lot of humour, and the new series, well, the series that's on now, it's quite heavy, you know, by comparison. And the one I did was all very funny, you know. I mean, me and Martin Ferraro, who played Izzy, who was the other character, you know, the two of us sort of had a double act. It was great fun to do. I mean, they were all very, very nice down there. I mean, I know it's chic and Miami, and everyone sort of says it must be, you know, glitzy and chic, but it's actually, they're very nice people. I mean, I'm not talking about necessarily Don Johnson and Philip Michael, rather. But,
well, he sounds a bit of a peenie, doesn't he?
Who? Philip Michael. He's on his own thing.
A bit of a willy.
He's on his own thing, definitely. I mean, he wasn't around too much, in fact.
He had his own air-conditioned Winnebago.
Yeah, Winnebago, yeah. Well, they all did, actually. Even I had my own air-conditioned Winnebago, I've got to confess. But Don Johnson was very nice, but yeah, Philip Michael is definitely off on his own thing, you know.
And have you got any more plans for more acting next year, if there's any gaps?
Well, I in fact spoke to Don Johnson only the other day, for that very reason. I don't know, name drop, but... No, I did, because I thought it would be nice to stay in touch with some of these people that I met during that thing. We had a call from the Miami Vice office, and I suddenly thought, of course, I haven't spoken to any of that lot. So I rang them up, and they've asked me to go back into the series again, to do another one with the same character, probably. Because I didn't get killed off, you know, I get a chance to come back. But that's if that works.
Even if you had been killed off?
Yes, I'd probably come back. I mean, if they can do it in Dallas, I'm sure they can do it in Miami Vice.
You were saying that working with Eric was one of your peers and one of your ambitions to do. Are there any more people left that you'd quite like to do things with? Yeah,
there. Steve Winwood.
Everyone's mad for Steve Winwood today.
Really?
Yeah, he's Mr. Popular today.
Well, I mean, ever since the Spencer Davis Group, obviously, and Traffic, one of my favourite bands. But he's just got a great voice, and I think it's ridiculous that not more people know of him. I know now he's got a hit record. But up until then, it was like, oh, Steve Winwood, yeah, he used to be with Spencer Davis, and no one's ever heard of him since, really. I mean, I suppose Traffic was a big band, but him I'd like to work with, and Aretha Franklin I'd like to work with. But, you know, then someone else turns up and sort of says, I mean, Stephen Bishop, who I know a lot of people think is a sort of a schmaltzy balladeer. He writes some great songs, and I'd like to bring him, because, you know, obviously it seems now that if I get involved, people get to hear of it. And so, therefore, I'd like to use that to bring certain people, you know, to bigger audience, right?
Now, are you going to go and change into your rock and roll outfit?
This is what you call it. I mean, this isn't expensive. You're not talking to Eric Clapton now, you know.
Oh, well, he's gone off to have his makeup done and his hair put in rollers and stuff, ready to say.
Oh, there's no point in me putting my hair in rollers, is there? Let's face it. No, I'm going to be. I change into my
cape.
My clown suit, yeah, cape, the Rick Wakeman cape. and go, and it's very hard work playing the drums. Look, I've got blisters on my fingers. Look at them hands, look. Look at the size of them hands. Holes all over them. Playing drums, you see, it's something I'm not actually quite used to, doing it on stage. Well, I sing all the time, you see. I only get a chance to play 3 or 4 songs, drums, and then that's it, but it's hard work.
When you finished having your quick sabbatical, then what?
Then we got about, well, until June, July of next year, of Genesis tour, which is growing a beard here, going back. We've got 5 weeks in America, after we've rehearsed for about a month. And then we've got a tour of Australia and New Zealand, which we've never been to. So that would be exciting for the band. I mean, I went out last year on my tour. But that would be interesting to go somewhere new. And then we've got Christmas, and then after that we go back to America for a short tour, Japan for a short tour, and then we're playing in Europe in May, June, July of next year. But there's a lot of gaps. I mean, I keep saying, whenever someone says, what are you doing next year? And I say, I'm touring till June. Suddenly the whole year runs, you know, and I think, God, I can't be playing that many dates, but we've got a lot of gaps, so. And we're coming to a town right near you.